The United States President holds a unique and powerful position. As head of state and head of government, the President represents the nation. The President leads the executive branch of the federal government. Millions of people work for the President, carrying out the laws of the land. The President lives and works in the White House in Washington, D.C. The President travels on Air Force One and has access to the best intelligence and security. It's a demanding job with immense responsibility. The President makes decisions that impact not just America, but the entire world. From economic policies to military actions, the President's choices have far-reaching consequences. The President's words and actions can move markets, inspire hope, and shape the course of history. Being President is a 24/7 job. There are always crises to manage and decisions to make, but the President is not alone in this task. The Constitution provides a framework for presidential power and outlines how it should be exercised. The U.S. Constitution, the supreme law of the land, carefully outlines the powers of the President. Article 2 lays out the President's responsibilities and limitations. This document ensures that the President's power is not absolute. The Founding Fathers, having experienced monarchy, wanted to avoid creating a king-like figure. They envisioned a system where power was shared and checked. The Constitution reflects this desire for balance. The President, though powerful, is not above the law. The Constitution provides mechanisms to limit presidential power and hold the President accountable to the people. This system of checks and balances is fundamental to American democracy. The Constitution grants the President significant authority, but also establishes boundaries. This framework prevents any one branch of government from becoming too powerful. It's a system designed to protect the liberties of the people. The President holds the title of Commander-in-Chief of the United States Armed Forces. This means the President has supreme command over the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. The President makes crucial decisions about military deployments and strategy. The President's role as Commander-in-Chief is a weighty responsibility. It involves deciding when and where to send American troops into harm's way. The President must carefully consider the potential consequences of military action. Throughout history, U.S. presidents have made difficult calls as Commander-in-Chief. From declaring war to authorizing covert operations, these decisions have shaped the nation's destiny. The power to wage war is one of the most significant powers entrusted to the President. However, the Constitution also grants Congress the power to declare war. This division of power ensures that the decision to engage in armed conflict is not made lightly. It reflects a deep-seated belief in civilian control of the military. The President is responsible for enforcing the laws passed by Congress. This includes overseeing federal agencies and departments. The President appoints the heads of these entities, who then carry out the laws and policies enacted by the government. The President's executive power extends to areas like immigration, environmental protection, and economic regulation. Through executive orders and directives, the President can influence how laws are implemented and enforced. This power allows the President to address pressing national issues. For example, President Abraham Lincoln used his executive power to issue the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing slaves in Confederate territories during the Civil War. This historic act demonstrates the profound impact of presidential action. The President's ability to enforce the law is crucial for the functioning of government. It ensures that laws are not merely words on paper, but are translated into concrete actions that affect the lives of all Americans. Section 5. Shaping the Nation, the Power of the Pen. The President has the power to issue executive orders, which have the force of law. These orders direct federal agencies on how to implement existing laws or policies. Executive orders allow the President to act swiftly on matters of national importance. Presidents have used executive orders to address a wide range of issues, from civil rights to environmental protection. These orders can have a significant impact on domestic policy and the lives of ordinary citizens. For instance, President Franklin D. Roosevelt used executive orders to establish the Civilian Conservation Corps and other New Deal programs during the Great Depression. While executive orders are a powerful tool, they are not unlimited. Congress can pass laws overturning or limiting the scope of executive orders. The courts can also strike down executive orders that they deem unconstitutional. The power of the pen gives the President considerable influence in shaping the nation's direction. While not as permanent as legislation, Executive orders provide a flexible mechanism for presidents to address pressing issues and advance their policy agendas. Section 6. A voice in Congress. The president's legislative influence. While the president cannot directly introduce legislation in Congress, they have significant influence over the legislative process. The president can propose legislation to members of Congress and work with them to get bills passed. One of the most visible ways the president influences Congress is through the annual State of the Union address. In this speech, delivered before a joint session of Congress, the president outlines their legislative priorities and vision for the country. The president can also use their veto power to block legislation they oppose. Congress can override a presidential veto with a 2/3 majority vote in both the House and Senate. The veto power gives the president considerable leverage in negotiations with Congress. The president's relationship with Congress is complex and ever-evolving. The ability to persuade, negotiate, and compromise is essential for a president to advance their legislative agenda and effectively govern. Section 7. Treaties and Diplomacy. The President on the World Stage. The President is America's chief diplomat, representing the country in foreign affairs. The President negotiates treaties with other nations, appoints ambassadors, and receives foreign dignitaries. The President's role in foreign policy is paramount. The President has the power to make treaties, but these agreements require the advice and consent of the Senate. The Senate must approve treaties by a 2/3 majority vote. This ensures that major foreign policy decisions have broad support within the government. Throughout history, U.S. presidents have played pivotal roles in shaping the international order. From negotiating peace agreements to forging alliances, the president's actions on the world stage have profound implications for global stability and security. The president's ability to engage in diplomacy, build relationships with foreign leaders, and project American power abroad is essential for advancing U.S. interests and promoting peace and prosperity around the world. Section 8. Checks and balances. Keeping presidential power in check. The Founding Fathers recognized the potential for abuse of power and designed a system of checks and balances to prevent any one branch of government from becoming too dominant. This system ensures that the president's power is not absolute. Congress has several ways to check the president's power. They can impeach and remove a president from office for treason, bribery, or other high crimes and misdemeanors. Congress also controls the federal budget and can defund presidential initiatives they disagree with. The courts, particularly the Supreme Court, can also limit presidential power through judicial review. The Supreme Court can declare presidential actions unconstitutional, effectively nullifying them. This power ensures that the president acts within the bounds of the Constitution. The system of checks and balances is designed to prevent tyranny and protect individual liberty. It ensures that the president is accountable to the people and their elected representatives in Congress. This principle of limited government is a cornerstone of American democracy. Section 9. The enduring significance of presidential power. The powers of the American president are vast and consequential. From commanding the military to shaping domestic policy, the president's decisions have a profound impact on the lives of all Americans and the course of world events. The Constitution provides a framework for presidential power, outlining both its scope and limitations. The system of checks and balances ensures that the president is not above the law, and that power is distributed among the different branches of government. Understanding the powers of the presidency is essential for informed civic engagement. By comprehending the president's role, citizens can better hold their leaders accountable and participate in the democratic process. The presidency remains a vital and enduring institution in American government.